Okay, I guess the previous video was clear. I have explained these 4 pointers there in the previous videos, where the central attitude will be the how to conserving the environment, and then how to an attitude towards recycling and reuse needs to be encouraged to conserve the environment. So the answer has been framed in the 4 parts. Attitude change towards the recycling and reuse is influenced by several factors. Now pertaining to this particular attitude towards recycling and reuse, the characteristics of the existing attitude, right? So this is one of the factor in changing any attitude. What is the characteristics of the existing attitude? Is simpler, more positive attitude are easier to change, right? Existing attitudes valence, favorable or unfavorable. So I will describe the these I will also describe these factors of attitude, that is valence, extremeness, simplicity and centrality. We have to discuss that also in form of an answer. So the existing attitudes valence, how favorable or unfavorable. So valence is a 5 scale, basically 5 scale factor of an attitude, where it starts with a negative and ends with a positive, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 scale model. So here this is the extreme negative and this is the extreme positive, right? So either is extreme negative or extreme positive, less negative, less positive, and this is the neutral part. So this is how we have defined the attitudes valence. That means either it's favorable or it's unfavorable, right? And extremeness, now we will discuss the extremeness also, that how extreme is this on the same scale. This is most extreme, these are the most extreme, these are the less extreme, and these are the neutral, right? So how extreme, the extremeness and the valence of in any attitude plays a big role in deciding the factors where how you can actually design the change of the attitude. A positive simple attitude towards recycling is easier to shift. Okay, now second point that is mentioned here is the source characteristics. So what is the source characteristics? Credible and attractive sources are more persuasive. Messages from environmental experts or well-known figures. So what is the source characteristics? So who actually are giving the messages, right, for to change that attitude. So the characteristics of the source, that is very important. So messages from the environmental experts, because this is pertaining to the environment. So it can be any attitude that can be given in the exam. Here it is conserving the environment. Sometimes it can be, some questions can be about the mental health, some questions can be about the nuclear energy or anything. So the message is coming, the message characteristics, the person should be having the person should be an environmental expert. In this case, well known figure can motivate attitude change. So well known figure, they're where because they are a good influencer, they have a good control on they have a good influence on the number of people, right? Now the third point that is mentioned here is the message characteristics. So what is the characteristics of the message? The information should be balanced, neither too much nor too little. So it's basically in the same format, message characteristics and the target characteristics. So wherever there is a question on the attitude change, you have to first study what basically is the main attitude, and what is the central attitude, and what are the other attitudes related with that. And here also it's mentioned the target attitudes, right? So question number 11 and 10 are almost on the same line, according to the attitude change. So target characteristics, again, individuals with open flexible personality and lower prejudices, right? So lower prejudice means they are ready to adjust with the change of the attitude. So people who are not ready to indulge or change the attitude, they are basically with the high prejudice, right? Intelligence and self-esteem can also impact the ease, right? So this is very well framed as compared to this part. Here it's said that intelligent people may change their attitude less easily. right? So you can actually write in a format where it says that the intelligence and the self-esteem can also impact the ease with which one change their attitude. So this is very good. Now the four significant features of the attitude that I really wanted to discuss again in the form of an answer. So whenever you define the valence, always define that it is a 5 scale, format where it starts with minus and plus, that is 1 2 3 4 5 scales. This is the lowest and this is the highest in terms of positivity and negativity, right? So the valence of an attitude tells us whether an attitude is positive or negative towards the attitude object, right? So remember, what is the attitude object towards which we are actually understanding the attitude. So in this, for example, in this attitude object is conserve the environment, right? So either it can be the valence of the attitude can be either positive or negative towards attitude object. A neutral attitude would have neither positive. So this third scale, if the scale is giving the result as 3, it will be a neutral, that is the passive attitude. So when we were studying the attitude, we studied that it can be either positive, right? It can be either positive or negative or neutral, right? So if it is neutral, then the attitude towards the attitude object. So we have to use these vocabularies when we are defining the attitude, positivity or negativity. Now the second, what are these? These are the features of an attitude. So this is one. Second is extremeness. This is again, extremeness is again a 5 scale model. The extremeness of an attitude indicates how positive and how negative, right? So if I say 1 2 3 4 5 scale model, so if I say this is positive, this is negative, so this is how positive: extreme positive, a little less negative, and little less positive, extreme negative, extreme positive, less negative, less positive, and this is again neutral, right? So this is about the extremeness. This is again a 5 scale theory about the features of the attitude. Now let's move forward. The third one is, okay, now they are the only in the opposite directions, right? They are only in the opposite directions, that is valence. A neutral attitude is lowest on extremeness. Okay, so this is something that is added on to the valence and the extremeness. Now what is the third here? Simplicity or complexity, right? We have discussed that in the video also, the previous video. So the simplicity and complexity, that is the feature of an attitude, is that it refers to how many attitudes are there within a broader attitude, right? In case of various topics such as health and world peace, people hold many attitudes instead of single attitude. So this can be the complexity, right? When you have many attitudes, an attitude system is said to be simple if it contains only one or few attitudes, and complex if it is made up of many attitudes, right? So this is very easy to remember. Even the above two are also very easy to remember, the valence and the extremeness features of the attitude. Now coming to the fourth point, that is the centrality. This also we have discussed. The centrality, that is kind of the central trait. This refers to the role of a particular attitude in the attitude system, right? So there is a central attitude, and based on that there are various other attitudes. So this is the central attitude, and then based on that there can be several other attitudes attached to that. Like here in this example, I said the central attitude towards attitude object is the conserving the environment, right? So based on that, the recycling can be one attitude, reuse can be one attitude connected with that. Correct? So centrality refers to the role of a particular attitude in the attitude system. So this is so strong that this central attitude is so strong that it gives rise to the other attitudes that connects with the central attitude. An attitude with greater centrality will influence the other attitude. So if this attitude is very strong and have great centrality, it will influence the other attitudes also. Much more than the non-central or peripheral. So these are all called the peripheral attitudes, right? So this is the central attitude, These all are the peripheral attitudes. So we will cover the PUX triangle we have discussed in the video. We will cover few MCQ questions in the next video.